Good morning or afternoon, boys and girls. This activity we're going to be looking at heart parts, and we're going to be diving into um, parts of the heart. And I can't stress this enough that you really pay attention to this reading because a lot of what you're going to read and see in this activity is things that you're going to be quizzed on and test on. So please make sure that you're really paying attention and focusing on this. Let's go ahead and do the title page for this activity. So your warm-up says, how does the heart maintain a one-way flow of blood through the body? Then you have your key terms here: arteries, atrium, blood vessels, and capillaries. We will talk about this warm-up later, but if you remember from activity 21, it was the valves. The valves is what really help the heart pump blood in one direction. Okay, let's go back here to the reading. Activity 23, heart parts. This says in activity 21, inside a pump you observed two bulbs. One contained a valve and one did not. The valve prevented the backward flow of water, which helped pump water from one container to the other. The human heart has valves that have helped blood flow in one direction. Where are these valves located and why are they necessary? And the challenge question is, how does the heart work as a double pump? Should have picked up the sheet on your way in, which is student sheet 23.1, heart diagram. Red and blue colored pencils are located in the classroom, so make sure you have those available as well. All right, here is the heart diagram, which let me pull up here, zoom out some. So your heart diagram, this is a very good diagram that shows how blood enters and exits the heart. Okay, so veins from the head, this is called the vena cava, enter the right atrium, pump down to the right ventricle. The right ventricle then pumps this blood, which is deoxygenated, to the pulmonary artery. So the pulmonary artery goes this way to the left lung and this way to the right lung, right? And then this is where deoxygenated blood lets out the carbon dioxide, picks up oxygen, returns back the pulmonary veins into the left atrium, down to the left ventricle, and is pumped up through this valve right here, this opening, and into the aorta, where this goes to the different parts of the body. Okay? All right, reading. Your heart is made of 4 chambers that work as 2 pumps. The right side of your heart acts as a pump that pumps blood to your lungs. The left side of your heart acts as another pump that pumps blood to all other parts of your body. Look at the diagram on the previous page. Blood always enters your heart through either of these 2 chambers known as atria, the plural for atrium. Blood is pumped out of your heart through the ventricles, plural for ventricle. All right, stop to think question number 1. On student sheet 23.1, heart diagram, label the left and right sides of the heart. Use your finger to trace the flow of blood through the right side of the heart. Notice where the blood is coming from and where it is going. Repeat this process for the left side of the heart. So your student sheet here is where you should be diagramming and coloring in these stop and think questions, okay? And if you go back here, you know, this diagram here will help you a great deal in finishing that. So if I can get this to work, here you go, this diagram right here. All right, so that I mean, basically when you're done, your diagram should look very similar to this one. Okay, so back to the reading. There are valves located between your atria and ventricle. And by the way, when you get to these stop think questions and you got to, you know, do the parts that they ask you to do, just go ahead and pause it and then come back. There are valves located between your atria and ventricles. There are also valves between your ventricles and the large vessels that lead to the lungs and the rest of your body. The valves open to let blood flow from one structure to another. The valves close to prevent the blood from flowing backwards. When you listen to your heart, you can hear a lub-dub sound. The first part of that sound is lub, is the sound of the valves between the atria and the rest of your body. I'm sorry, let me back up here. I apologize. First part of that sound, the lub, is the sound of the valves between atria and the ventricles closing. The second part of that sound, dub, is the sound of a second pair of valves closing. One of these valves is located between the left ventricle and the blood vessel carrying oxygenated blood to the body's organs. The other valve is located between the right ventricles and the blood vessels carrying the oxygenated blood to the lungs. Okay, go down here where it says stop and think question number 2. Look carefully at the heart on student sheet 23.1. Identify the location of the heart valves, circle each valve, and label the valves that produce the lub sound and the valves that produce the dub sound. Okay, so go ahead and pause and do that now. Okay, moving on here. Blood travels through your heart in tubes of various sizes. These tubes are known as blood vessels. Blood vessels form a network of tubes throughout your body. At various points in the network, blood vessels are called arteries, veins, or capillaries. Remember finding your pulse in Activity 19, Heart Healthy Fit? We didn't do that, so don't worry about it. You can feel your pulse as your heart pumps blood through your arteries. Arteries carry blood away from your heart. Most arteries carry oxygen-rich blood to the organs. The largest artery in your body is the aorta. Veins carry blood back to your heart. Most veins carry blood with lower levels of oxygen and higher levels of carbon dioxide picked up from the organs. Even though the blood in your veins is a deep red, veins look dark purple or blue under the skin of your wrist, under your tongue. Okay, remember we talked about that yesterday. It's not blue. Stop to think question number 3. Color your heart diagram on student sheet 23.1. Use red for areas that contain blood carrying higher levels of oxygen and lower levels of carbon dioxide. Use blue for areas that contain blood carrying higher levels of carbon dioxide and lower levels of oxygen. Recall that arteries carry blood away from your heart, and most arteries carry blood with higher levels of oxygen. Look carefully at the pulmonary arteries on student sheet 23.1. Explain how these arteries are different from most arteries in your body. Hint, think about the blood they are transporting. C. Recall that veins carry blood to your heart, and that most veins carry blood with lower levels of oxygen. Look carefully at the pulmonary veins on 23.1. Explain how these veins are different from most veins in your body. Hint, think about the blood they are transporting. Blood leaving the left side of your heart flows into arteries that carry oxygen to all parts of your body. Arteries become smaller and smaller until they become capillaries. Capillaries are blood vessels with walls so thin that oxygen, nutrients, and waste can pass back and forth. Each capillary is very small, and there are many of them. They provide lots of surface area for oxygen to move to the tissues and carbon dioxide waste to move out of the tissues. As the capillaries widen again, they become veins. So there's a diagram of your circulatory system in your arm. Here are your arteries in red, veins are in blue, and then it gets down to the smaller levels here of your capillaries. Okay? All right. Next page. Here are your analysis questions. So we've done this before. Again, you don't have to copy this list, but in each list, look for a relationship among the words or terms. Cross out the word or phrase that does not belong. Okay, so I'm not going to read these to you. You can do these after you finish this reading and after you finish your diagram. This Venn diagram, I would try to do it on that page, but if it's too small, feel free to copy it and do it in your notebook. Okay, so again, your student sheet 23.1, after you've done all the stop and think questions, make sure you've got it labeled, make sure you've got it diagrammed, and make sure you've colored it in the way you were instructed to do on the stop and think questions. After this is completed, then do the analysis questions. All right, boys and girls, hope you have a great day. Take care.